It is at the end of the Old Kingdom that the scenes from everyday life, usually carved on the walls of private tombs, started to be made into figurines in stucco and painted wood. Meant to represent the journey to the hereafter, these navigation scenes symbolize the journey of the deceased towards the holy city of Abydos, made in the company of Re in his sacred boat. With the helmsman among sailors set out in 8 rows, the boat presented here is crafted very simply without any particular detail, because it is not the vessel that is meant to attract our attention. It is the deceased represented here wrapped in a large cloak, while its mummy is locked inside the yellow sarcophagus. This representation of the deceased is in fact the statue taken to Abydos, which will be deposited in a chapel in the forecourt of the great temple of Osiris, so that it will benefit from the personal devotion to the faithful. This type of large cloak with enveloping drapery whose edges cross over the chest are often found on statues or statuettes of men standing, sitting or crouching, and used from the second half of the 12th dynasty to the beginning of the 13th. The statue that seems to be closest to this particular deceased is of a certain Keti in charge of the Delta and kept at the Cairo Museum. Taking into account the costume our deceased wears and dating of the statues mentioned above, we believe this funerary model dates to between the end of the 12th dynasty and the beginning of the 13th. The private collection from which this model boat originates confirms this. This boat comes from the personal collection of Syed Pasha Kashaba, a wealthy industrialist from the Asyut region who built a rich and important collection of Egyptian antiquities. In 1910, he obtained from Ahmed Pasha Kamal, then director of the archaeological excavations of this region of Middle Egypt, on behalf of the Antiquities Department of Egypt, a permit to excavate. Syed Pasha Kashaba studied more particularly the site of Asyut until 1914. Therefore, this boat can only come from the necropolis of Asyut, where it was discovered between 1910 and 1914 by Syed Pasha Kashaba, who integrated it in his collections. Moreover, the date of 1913, mentioned on the cards of acquisition of this object, fits perfectly the chronological framework during which it would have been discovered or acquired by Syed Pasha Kashaba in Asyut.